208, clear of runway.
Yep, don't need to say that.
Don't need
Not
to say that.
interested.
Oh, right.
Not
okay.
interested. Not interested.
Fair enough.
But when you land, you have to say that
When
you
you,
clear the runway.
yep, when you land, they like to know you're clear of the active.
Oh yeah, because you'll be on their radar anyway, so they'll know that, won't they? Yeah.
They might not have radar, but
True.
yeah,
True.
yeah, they might not have radar.
Oh, they just look out the window anyway, don't they? Yeah, if they're a manned control tower.
Yeah, sometimes the visual control, the visual
Yeah,
tower,
yeah.
the visual bit will see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mandatory to keep on the direction of the runway until you get out of the runway, or you can initiate your turn.
Yeah, generally there'll be something that tells you in the airport document. It'll tell you what to do, but you would maintain runway. Some of them say runway heading.
Yeah.
Some say runway track, so you have to be a bit careful if you're IFR, because there's a big difference if the wind's blowing. So they would say like maintain runway track or maintain runway heading until 1,500, something like that. But sometimes they tell you, and sometimes it's in the document. Airwego 208, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change to Unicom or 122.8. Bye bye.
122.8, Airwego 208. Thank you. Goodbye.
Perfect, mate. And now you can climb away because you finished with them, so you can climb to whatever it is you need to climb to.
Cool.
I don't know what you've picked for tonight.
Just following this chart says sometimes you need to be about 10,500 feet on the little nav map.
Oh yeah, there's an MS.
Waypoint 2 and 3 is about 10,500, but after that, waypoint 4, 5, 6 is just over 5,000. Downloaded this off of Flight Sim TO, this flight plan, but it's a bigger one. It's obviously a lot longer. I'd cut it short just to get it within our evening. So there was about, I think there was about 200 waypoints in the original.
Well, the weather looks okay, doesn't it, for the return? It looks as though we can do just a VFR arrival.
Yeah.
Earlier on it was quite rubbish, so it looked as though we'd have to do an RNAV with the circle to land or something, which you can still do if you want, of course.
Gusty winds where I am at the moment. Jesus.
Yeah, they are.
28. It's going from like 15 knots to 28 knots. Is there a limit that certain, like say you just got your PPL, is there certain limitations to what you can fly, what weather sort of you're allowed to fly in? Do you have to have different training for more advanced winds and things, or not really?
So as far as the weather concerned, with a fresh PPL, you can only fly in VMC.
What's VMC, sorry?
So VFR rules and VMC, which is visible meteorological conditions. So, and different countries have different rules about what that should be in different classes of airspace. But basically, it's got to be a good day.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of wind, nobody particularly cares very much what the winds are like when you've taken off, because it's just a matter of working out your heading.
Got ya.
allowing for the wind. What does matter is your personal limits for takeoff and landing for a crosswind.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're part of a group or a flying club, they may specify what you are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Otherwise, it's just a case of picking a day, getting an instructor, and practicing. Yeah.
Got ya.
Practice,
Yeah.
practice. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And some aeroplane, well, all aeroplanes will have a maximum demonstrated.
See what I mean, Roberto?
Lot of wind.
Yeah. Go on, Nigel. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of airfields, all airplanes will have set. But that's just demonstrated, and that means this is the most that the test pilot experienced. It is not what the airplane can take.
Got ya.
Yeah. So when I fly the TB10, it's got a demonstrated crosswind of 20 knots. That just means the test pilot flew it in a 20-knot crosswind and landed it with no problems. I've landed it with a 30-knot crosswind, gusting 35. It was blowing a right hurricane when I landed. So that's what you would look for. You would look at the pilot's operating handbook and you'd say, okay, this has been demonstrated at 15 knots. So I'm not going to go above 15 knots until I know I can handle it. And then bizarrely, some insurance companies say you're not to land this in a crosswind more than what it says in the pilot's handbook, which is a bit silly, because if you've taken off, you've got to land somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they can be a bit strange, but so you build up your crosswind limit. Yep, you build it up slowly. Yeah.
Right. I'm following a guy on YouTube at the moment. He's from America, but he's learning to fly helicopters. And he just had his last check ride flight. He's done all his hours, his solo hours now. He had his last check ride with his instructor yesterday, and today he had his actual check ride to get his PPL.
It's
fascinating. I've been watching him from the start because he's literally done blogs from the start when he first ever flew it, and it's great watching. And it's brilliant. It's really good. And like that's why I was asking about the winds, because in his helicopter, he's only allowed to fly in winds of up to 15 knots.
Yeah.
So
So it all depends whose airplane it is and whose rules you're following. It all depends. In the group that I fly in, we don't have any crosswind limits at all. The insurance doesn't specify any, so it's whatever you're comfortable with. I fly with one guy in the little rally. One of the owners isn't quite as comfortable with the crosswind as the other owner. So one of them will say, "No, I'm not flying today," and the other one will say, "Yeah, I'm going." So it's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you. I like crosswind landings; they're fun, especially when it's not my airplane.
Where are you, Roberto? You disappeared off my little nav map.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Overstressed the airplane. I don't know why.
Oh, mate.
Oh gosh, you should really turn that off.
Yeah, turn it off. I told James is the one for that as well.
But I was looking my speed, looking everything, because I have my tablet with a big screen, looking to my speed and everything, but I don't know what happened.
Might be that wind. The gusts were just a bit too much for it. They were blowing me all over, literally.
typical. This cloud keeps coming in and ruining my view.
Yeah, mate. Should be alright soon after this first big peak that we've got to get over. Should be alright after that.
Are you streaming this, Roberto, or not now?
We're recording. Yeah.
You are recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, that scared the crap out of me. Big flash, and then soon after, bang, thunder. Oh. So realistic in this game as well.
Oh, in the game. Wow.
In the game, yeah. Flash, bang. You loading back in, Roberto?
Yeah.
Yeah, just click on me and start from where I am if you want. You can do that.
I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Just go back to the map, and then you'll see me on it, or should you?
Yeah, no, but I'm already take off.
Okay.
Let's take a shortcut and join you waypoint 4 maybe.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll slow down a little bit. I can see you now, Roberto. Yeah.
Yep.
Incoming.
What is your speed?
131.
TAS?
I'll find that, mate.
You should be able to find it in little nav map, I would have thought.
145.
174. 174. Oh, no, that's not true, is it?
No, it's true airspeed. So you got where it says speed,
Yeah.
you got indicated, ground, true airspeed.
Wind gust.
500.
One thing you can do while you're pottering around this circuit is the Grand Canyon VOR, which is 113.10. You can tune that in, and then you can keep adjusting the course so it's lined up.
Cool.
And then that would then give you the heading towards it, if you see what I mean. So just a practice.
113.10, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just a practice, so you can see it on little nav map, and you can see in the aeroplane. You can think, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I found it now. 115 true airspeed. Whoa, gust. Have you got live weather on still, Roberto?
Yeah.
You getting that thunder?
Getting what?
Thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, scary. Jeez. Drop down now. That's better. Out of the cloud now.
Yeah, I'll be glad to get rid of that.
Whew.
Oh yeah, that's better.
I think I'm in the wrong cabin.
Ah, I can see you on a little nav map, but I can't see you outside.
Yeah, I can't. I've dropped down to about 8,000 feet now.
Hey, firm.
following the river or the waypoints?
Waypoints.
I'm just going down to look at the river now. Now I'm clear of the cloud.
Yeah, I might follow the river on this leg actually. Oh wow. Go right in there. Yeah.
Yeah, get right down in there.
Yeah.
And then follow it. Might as well just follow it around.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the Mac loop.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
hotter.
Wow.
I expect to see a screenshot at some point.
Take one.
When you've got the...
Here comes the next one.
Oh yeah, they're nice. Oh, I can see your storm clouds as well.
Yeah.
What is your altitude now?
3,270. Oh, I can see someone in front of me.
Me, I'm afraid. Just nipped in front.
Oh, look at the rocks over there. They're bright red. Beautiful. Wow. Whoa. Gusty wusty.
Nigel, what is the important speed for not stressing the aircraft? The true airspeed or the one on the strip?
Yeah. Generally, the pilot's handbook, pilot's operating handbook, will talk about indicated. It will always talk about indicated airspeed. Yeah. Sometimes they talk about true, but it's normally indicated. Yeah. and you'll see a orange band and then a red band.
Yeah.
And normally, what are you flying at the moment? You're on a 172, are you? Or a Caravan?
Caravan, yeah.
Caravan, yeah. So when you can't see it until you get close to it, but you'll see the speed strip at the moment is green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that
And then it'll
AOA?
go.
Is that what AOA is?
No, that's the angle of attack.
Oh, right.
So that's how your wing is being presented to the relative airflow.
Ah, got you.
Which is a very useful thing, actually. It's a very good thing to know for your approaches. It's very nice. Yeah, it's very nice. God, this is lovely in here, isn't it?
Beautiful, yeah. Gust of wind tried to smash me into the left-hand cliff face. Jesus.
It's getting narrow.
This is too narrow for my aeroplane.
It's raining on your scene.
No.
Not on mine. I've got active sky, and it's fine. Yeah, it's windy, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's getting narrow, but I can get through it just. I ain't got much either. I haven't got much either side.
I think I've just scraped one wingtip. Send Richard the bill.
Yeah. Oh, it's a big right-hander coming up. Whoa. Bank and pull, bank and pull. Remember what Nigel said.
Yeah, banking yank. Put some power in.
Yeah. Then a big left-hander. Whoa. Nice.
I see you now, guys.
Wicked.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the left.
There's no room on the left.
No, no. Just a little.
Oh gosh, there's just enough room for me. Well, in my sim anyway, in my scenery. Yeah, I've got to stay up higher because there's no way I can get down there. It's too narrow on my scenery.
Is it?
Yeah, it's too narrow.
Left or right?
Right. That's amazing, isn't it?
Stunning. Sun's out now.
We will need a full cleaning service for the airplane. Most of my passengers vomit.
Oh yeah, I think so.
It's very bouncy.
Glad I brought a change of underwear as well. No, Richard, that is melted hobnobs. I promise you.
Yeah.
Whoa. Gusty. Whoa, gusty through that section. Jesus. Who's that?
Me. Are you above me or behind?
Behind. To your right. On your right wing. Just overtaking you.
Going to the airport, is in the waypoint or just follow?
Where we took off from, we're just literally once we get to waypoint, whatever it is. Hold on.
I'm just going straight to, well, following the river. I'm not going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just following the river at the moment. And then when we get to waypoint 16, it's just a straight line from there to back to the airport we took off from, I think.
Okay. Roger that.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Nice picture.
Oh yeah. This was ages ago. I took these ones. I'm just trying to fly with my right hand and put upload pictures with my left. Lightning again.
past me. I think it was Roberto.
Huh?
Yeah, it's Roberto.
Yeah, just nipped past me.
That's me.
I think that for the future event, Steve, if you just put a little nav map plan,
Yeah, we'll
then
do.
people can export whichever flavour they want, can't they, from it?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Just,
what I thought I did this
yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah, saves you doing so
exactly.
many.
I've not even got the flight plan loaded into the sim. I'm just using
No,
visually flying it
yeah,
with little nav maps.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know, that water, it's just orange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mental.
Must be a lot of clay in the land.
Mm. Come on, you two, get lower.
It was, yeah, I can actually now. It was back there. There wasn't enough room for me to can now.
Active runway for landing. is going to be the same. So no ILS.
No, so what you can do is what's called a circle to land. So you can descend on the ILS, and then when you get to a decision altitude for the circle to land, you can brake left and circle around the airport to come in and land on the other end. Yeah, that's called a circle to land. And if you've got the chart, not that you can look at it now, but on the way back, if you look at the chart, you'll see there's a circle to land part at the bottom, and it gives you a decision altitude. So you descend on the ILS nice and controlled until that decision altitude, and then you look up and hopefully you'll be able to see the runway, and then you keep going until you're about a mile away from the runway, and then you brake left into the circuit, but you must not go above the minimum descent altitude, because in real life you could lose sight of the runway. The important thing is not to lose sight of that runway. Which for the circuit that they've got, which is a right-hand circuit, makes it a bit awkward, because you can't just look out the window, you've got to look across the cockpit. So yeah, but yeah, we'll have a go at it. It's, they're good fun. I've put the charts up in the Discord.
Yeah, I've got them already.
Yeah. Okay, so I've printed out the RNAV for some strange reason, I don't know why, but I'll get the ILS.
Yeah, I can see the circuit, what you're talking about,
Yeah, to the right of the decision height altitudes is the circle to land. Yeah. So it's saying 7,280 is the altitude at which we look up, which is 671 feet above the airfield, but 7,200 on our altimeter. And then we keep on going till we're about a mile away, and then we can go brake left into the circuit. Got my arms aching from all this. Yeah, I've got a joystick, yeah. I haven't got space for a yoke.
Yeah, I have. I'm lucky enough to.
Yeah.
Got the SATEC one, the Pro one.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
I want to buy that honeycomb.
Oh, the honeycomb. Yeah. The only reason I went with the SATEC stuff is they've got other equipment you can buy. You can buy a radio stack.
Yeah.
It's about £70 that is. You've got the autopilot stack. That's another £70. And they've got all the other bits as well.
You have also coaches.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I was going to ask you. Go on, sorry. Oh, what, sorry?
And a motion rig also.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Nigel, about mixture and things like that, and like prop feathers. How do you decide all that? Is that like what mixture you're going to be?
Well, mixture you normally use. This is in a normal piston engine, obviously not in a caravan, which is a turboprop. So in a normal piston engine, you would take off, climb, and land fully rich.
Yep.
Unless you were somewhere high like this. So if you're high, then somewhere like that, then you wouldn't even get the engine started.
Right.
And then once you're above, say in Northern Europe, once you're above 3,000, 4,000 feet, you start to lean. Yeah, you start to lean the engine. If you've got something like an exhaust gas temperature gauge or something like that, then you can lean and you'll see that creep up.
Okay.
Yep. And then you lean it until it gets to its maximum. And then depending on the engine and the manufacturer and their instructions, then you push it back in again and you make it rich to come down so many degrees C. So you're always running a bit rich.
Got you.
Normally. If you haven't got the luxury of an exhaust gas temperature gauge, then as you lean it, if it's a fixed pitch propeller, you'll see the RPM rise.
Okay.
Which is the propeller RPM, because it's the same as the engine RPM, because it's fixed. And then you keep leaning until you get maximum RPM, and then you push it back in just a bit.
Right.
Yeah. If it's the variable pitch, then they've normally got an exhaust gas one.
Yeah.
So as far as the propeller is concerned, you have to follow what the manufacturer says.
Right.
But generally speaking, you would take off with full throttle and fully fined pitch, i.e. the blue lever fully forward.
Yeah.
And that would give you the most acceleration,
Got you.
And then when you're at, depending on the aeroplane, 500, 600 feet, sometimes less, you would then pull it back. You'd pull both back, the throttle and the propeller.
Yeah.
And something like the TB10 I fly, you start off about 27 on both, and then you pull them back to 25. Yeah, right. So 25 manifold pressure, 2,500 RPM, and you always do. So when you're coming back, you do the throttle first and then the propeller. Otherwise, you'll detonate. You can detonate the engine. When you're going forward, you do the propeller first and then the engine.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the way to do it. There's loads and loads on YouTube of how to do these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So generally, just after takeoff, you bring it back to say 25 squared, as they call it, 25, 25, and then once you start climbing and you get above 3,000, you'd start to think about leaning, and then you continue leaning until you get to your cruise altitude. Just keep it fully rich because it keeps the engine cooler.
Got ya.
Because it's using the lead in the fuel to cool the engine. So yeah. So it all depends. It doesn't really matter much in the sim, but yeah, that's how you do it.
Oh, so aviation fuel still got lead in it?
I'm afraid so, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Never knew that.
So my hybrid electric plug-in hybrid car is doing its bit for the environment, and then I go and fly and chuck loads of lead out. Which is not very good. It's not very good. Yeah, exactly. In the UK, we've got a Pipistrel microlight, ultralight. That's got an electric engine, and they're having great success with that. It's very good. Yes. Yeah. 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 It's really good. It's really good. And in Norway, I think they are. The government has said that they want to see hybrid or electric engines because they subsidise the Norwegian airlines quite a lot. So they've said you need to start doing something.
Yeah, the problem must be right now that you said the time that you can use the autonomy of the batteries.
Yeah, that's the problem at the moment.
I could just imagine the military doing that with their, with the military jets, and then having mid-air recharging or something. Could be possible, couldn't it? You know what I mean?
It's probably the future.
It is, isn't it? It's got to be, isn't it? Imagine that. Mid-air recharging.
Yeah.
A flying supercharger.
Yeah.
Surely they could use the momentum. Couldn't you use the momentum of the prop spinning to recharge the battery?
Yeah, there's lots of work on regeneration going on.
Yeah, surely.
No, we're all following you.
Don't follow me.
We're all following you. I've just looked at little.
I've got river below me.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Have you? That's fine.
I'm going left.
Well, that's okay because this
You've
goes
gone right.
to the. Yeah, that's all right. We're going to go to the next. We'll go to the West Grand Canyon West Airport then.
Any news on your PC yet, Nigel?
No, I'm
No.
still on the waiting list, and he hasn't called to say that he's got the cards. So
Right.
I'm kind of expecting the next thing he'll say is, "I still can't get any. Do you want to cough up for a different card? Do you want to spend some more on a different card?" So I'm waiting for that phone call.
Yeah.
And then have a conversation with my chief financial officer and see if she says okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't need that bigger card.
No, not at all.
I don't need it. It would be ridiculous, but I might be forced into it.
Yeah.
What card do you want?
I think I've forgotten. I've got the spec in front of me now, but I think I need an 8060 something or another. And the one he offered me, because he couldn't get that one, he was offering me an 8060 Ti for an extra 320 odd pounds or something.
stand on the rear.
Yeah, I was thinking that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah.
We have to prepare some lake-to-lake group flight.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you got Misty moorings, Nigel?
No, I didn't bother installing it because I don't have the space or the machine to do it.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because we've got it from Microsoft Flight Sim now. I just didn't know how close it was to any other sort of sim.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure some of it is standard.
Yeah.
Or it'll be represented in FSX.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like Misty Mornings. It's brilliant when I used to have it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Get out. That's Chris. Hi, Chris.
Chris has appeared.
Oh yeah, busy day.
Like doing plastering, but it was the worst plastering I've done.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Don't take a break plastering. I was flying.
Still doing it, mate.
How is
Yeah,
it like?
I'm just on the return leg, which is a bit higher, straight back to Grand Canyon Airport. But the flying down the canyon was great fun. Yeah, it's a bit like the Mac Loop, but it went on and on and on.
Crazy.
And much narrow in some parts.
And too narrow
yeah.
for my caravan. Scraping the wingtips.
Yeah, I think that the caravan with this upgrade from my caravan is like really absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
The avionics and stuff like that. Wow. It looks so nice. You can just plan it. Yeah. Really good. And it's free.
Get the altitude with autopilot now. Straight leg. Vertical.
I don't really know if the compass can cause a crash or sim.
Can it cause the crash? It's unlikely. It reads the data every second, but it reads it via FSU IPC, or in X-Plane's case, it reads it via XP UPIC. So it doesn't interact directly with the sim itself. Yeah, so it's unlikely. The only time it writes data to it, again via XP UPIC, is if you pause or if you set the sim time via compass. That's the only time it writes to it. The rest of the time it's just reading memory, so it's unlikely to cause it. I've never seen it before in all the thousands of hours it's used, but that's not to say it won't. Yeah, it's not to say it can't happen.
Yeah, I'm just curious because yesterday I was getting explained, which is normally without any faults, and suddenly the screen on the XP just went white, and yeah, it just paused. It's like 10 minutes before landing, so which usually never happens in X-Plane.
Yeah.
So it's really stable. But yeah, I managed to restart the game, but unfortunately I forgot to set the times. But yeah, we had a chat with Steve and you know.
Yeah.
I thought that would be some connection, but might have been something else. As Steve said, the seems against the old guy.
Just
Yeah.
you, mate. You and flight sims just don't have much
Yeah.
luck with them.
Yeah, in general, I find like X-Plane level the top one for flying. Yeah, I'm still considering buying the caravan
Yeah.
then I don't need invest.
Yeah.
Which kind of was a waste of fucking money. Yeah, hopefully it will improve. Well, caravan is working fine on MFS, so
Yeah,
it's
it is.
good.
Yeah. That's why I've been doing all
Really-
those
it's really
UK
good.
tours.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really good. So even if it just kind of breathes for a while, it's alright.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 35 knot gusting. Jesus. That was scary.
Yeah, I'm working on Compass at the moment to every time it does a update to the server, you know, the live tracking to the server, every time it does that, which is every 2 minutes when you're in the cruise, I'm going to save the state of the flight of Compass itself, so that if the sim should crash, then you can just stop Compass, and then when you've reloaded your flight back to wherever you were, then start Compass again, and it will say, oh, I've got a file that I was using, do you want me to use that? And then it will carry on as though it hadn't crashed.
Yeah.
And it'll just pick up. It'll just pick up. But what you've got to do is you've got to get your sim ready first and then start Compass. Otherwise, if you start Compass and say yes, please use that file, it thinks you're in the air, and if you put yourself back in the gate, if you put yourself back in the gate, it'll get itself in a right old twist. So
will it kind of recognize the latest waypoint?
yeah, it's
within a margin.
Well, it doesn't know about waypoints because it doesn't know your flight plan as such. It doesn't really know it, so it just records your last latitude and longitude, your last coordinates. And then when you get your sim ready, and it doesn't matter if you're like 2 minutes, if it was 2 minutes later or 5 minutes later, it'll just catch up. It'll just go, oh, that's where you are. Yeah. So that's what I'm working on next, because as Tony said, we're getting in. When I started Compass 20, when I started writing it, we didn't get that many crashes in sims, but now we are. We're getting lots of crashes of sims, plus lots of crashes to desktop. So I think it's worthwhile doing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a bit of a nightmare to code it.
Yeah, because for example, in like X-Plane, when you're kind of 10 minutes to landing, so on approach, you can only set it to like 10 nautical miles from the destination. So will the compass kind of recognize, or will it have a kind of a margin of where it works? So it doesn't have to be exactly the same spot where it's not.
No, it doesn't have to be the same spot. Where it might get a bit confused is the different flight phases. So let's say you're descending and Compass says the flight phase is descending, and then it goes to on approach, doesn't it? When you're within, I forget what it is, 15, 20 miles, it says on approach. If your sim crashes then, and your last save was just before, when you start compass, it will think you are on approach, but you're not, you're still descending. So it might get a little bit confused, but it doesn't ultimately matter. It doesn't ultimately matter. That's the only thing that will look a bit odd. Apart from that, it won't matter.
What about the time?
Yeah, the time is fine because it records the time you took off and it will record the time you land. That's how it works out your flight time.
And the fuel as well.
So
but still, for example, the example I had last night. So I started, let's say, I changed the time because I didn't want to fly at night. Real time. So I set like, let's say, 1 p.m. Yeah. So I flew like for 2 hours and a half, and then the game crashed. And then obviously when I restarted the game again, it was like 1 p.m. I just didn't think of changing it to like anything near 3 p.m.
Yeah. No, you have to. You have to put it back to what it was. If you don't put back the same time, then it will get confused. But there's nothing I can do about that.
Okay. Same with the fuel aspects, isn't it?
Yeah. The only problem was that it was like kind of late or early, like 2 hours early. So that's the only problem. But in general, the time, like the flight time on Compass was correct.
That's what I checked with you, didn't it?
Yeah. It was 2 hours 55 minutes in general. So it picked it up.
Yeah.
But in general, on Pirate is what, like 2 hours early.
Yeah.
Because I was worried you weren't going to get your 4 stars, wasn't I? After all that.
It was like 3 hours left and the fucking game crashed by 10 minutes. And Steve was laughing that he didn't like me.
The fuel, when it saves its state, it will save the fuel you've got on board, and it will save the amount of fuel you've used, and it will save the amount of fuel you started with, along with your minimum arrival fuel that you said you set. When you reload, so you reload your game, and let's say your saved flight, your automatic saved flight, was a minute or two after Compass had done its save, then Compass will just catch up. It'll just say, oh, there's a bit more fuel. There's less fuel than I thought. That's okay. That's no big deal. Cool. So long as it knows what it started with, then it's fine. It'll catch up. Yeah, it'll just go, oh, that's all right.
There is an option in Explain to just resume the flight, but I think there was something with the files that I couldn't do it while it was just going into like a freeze mode all the time. So I just restarted the flight just on the approach mode, so it 10 nautical miles of the destination, and actually picked up fine, and it was on spot. But
if you generally speaking, if it's just the sim that's crashed, if you leave Compass running, it will be all right. It'll just think,
sometimes you have to restart the fucking PC just to know.
I know, and that's when I'm hoping. That's what my new changes will do. It'll say, oh yeah, you've restarted everything, but I've got a file here. Do you want me to use it? Yeah. Do you want me to use it?
Yeah, like a backup. So
it's a backup. In XPUIPC, do you have the option to switch on autosave? You have in the FSUIPC, and it will automatically save it however many minutes you want. Be in the XP Well, it'll be in the menu to do with your XP add-on, but I don't know in Explain.
Yeah. It's like a plugin.
Yeah. Oh, my in-flight refreshments have arrived.
Like offset files.
Yeah, you might find a Google help. Yeah, FSU IPC saves the game for you whenever you set it up in, say, every 5 minutes or whatever, and then it overwrites the file each time. So you've got one file that is your last good save, and you can use that to put yourself back in the air. Now, I could get Compass to do it, but I'm not sure that it would work for every sim.
Yeah.
No, I think you might just need to Google it, because XPU IPC is not done by the same people of FSU IPC, and I've got a feeling the guy has stopped it anyway. The guy who wrote it is finished. That's why I had to try and fix that problem you had with your Explain when it wouldn't let you submit.
Yeah, but still the braking, like
the parking brake on and off and all
yeah,
that.
the parking brake.
Yeah, it's terrible in Explain. Absolutely terrible in Explain.
So it sees like a normal braking as a parking brake, but it doesn't trigger the parking brake actually. So you have to set the parking brake, and it sees it like at both.
Yeah.
So whenever you press the brakes, it sees the parking brake, but in general it's not the parking brake.
Yeah. When we used Hermes, which was the program we used before I wrote Compass, if you put the parking brake on, then it stopped timing your flight. It assumed you were sat still, so it stopped timing your flight. And Explain people, after they took off, to stop the constant reporting of parking brake, they would set the parking brake. They just set it, and then of course when they got to the other end after like 10 hours, they realised that Hermes was only registering like 5 minutes because they put the parking brake on. So I wrote a program called the Parking Brake Defeater, which several Explain people use to overcome the problem, but it's always been the same Explain.
Well, it doesn't really bother me, but like as long as
No, it's fine. It all works fine.
Reports
just
and submit the item, then
yeah, that's it. Who cares? Yeah, who cares?
And no matter how what settings you choose for like joystick or whatever, it does the same. So there are no settings that you can like override. Anyway, it works.
Yeah. Right, if you're going to do
Right.
if you need the ILS, you will need 108.9,
Yeah.
and the course. Let me just check
30.
my chart. Yep, thank you. Yep, the course is 030.
Yeah.
And you can do you can do a 12-mile DME arc if you want before you come into the ILS, or you can head straight for the end of the feathers on
Yeah,
little nav map. Yeah.
I've got
So
I'm heading to CARMS, CARMS.
CR, yeah. So you need to be at CARMS at 9,000 according to the chart. And then when you leave CARMS and head towards the ILS, you descend to 8,200. I'm sure you've got the ILS there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, got it.
Right, guys, so enjoy your flying.
No worries, mate.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Are we planning any more like vaccine kind of stuff?
Do whatever you want. Yeah, I can do ATC for you, or we could, dare I say it, try
That'll
VATSIM.
be good. That'll be good just to
Have some more practice. Yeah, have some more practice. Yep, no problem at all.
I think it can be done with this now as well. So.
Yeah, we can just do circuits, or I don't know what the next event is, to be honest.
It is.
I think it's Honduras, Guatemala,
Oh, lovely.
Tegucigalpa Airport.
Mm.
It's a landing challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
MR, Mike Romeo Lima Brava, Daniel
like that.
Aduba Quiros International,
Oh, we
flying
like
to
that.
Tonkintin International.
Is it with
A narrow body jet, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think
that.
it's a good chance to practice.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, or well, anyone can do it, but it doesn't suit Tony, does it? The time doesn't suit Tony, or else Tony
No,
would do it for us.
unfortunately.
Yeah, Tony would happily do it for us, but it doesn't suit him. Yeah, I can do that. It's no problem. All very laid back and fun.
Certainly.
Yeah, last time it was good. No one landed properly.
That's right. God, that was terrible.
We can blame the tower. The tower is absolutely terrible. Bringing the service. Yeah.
That was a terrible place, wasn't it?
It
God.
was,
It
yeah.
was, yeah.
Yeah, approach path was absolutely not for the Okay, anyway, enjoy and speak to you soon.
Okie
No worries,
dokie.
mate. Take care.
Yeah.
Cheers, bud. See ya.
At this distance, you might contact already tower.
Yeah, I generally go 10 minutes before. So you could go earlier than that, of course, or you could go approach. I mean, in real life, you'd be on approach or radar.
Depends if
But
the other controller passes you to the approach.
yeah. But yeah, 10 minutes away, I normally call them up. It depends really. So yeah, anywhere around about here, you'd say, give them a shout. Well, you'd get the 80s, and then you'd come back and just talk to the tower.
We have wind 200, 80 knots.
Yeah, that could be good.
Thankfully, it's not crosswind.
No, it won't be too bad actually. Although doing your circuit, it'd be fine actually. It'd be fine. Your base turn, you'll get blown towards. Oh no, you won't. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll get blown away from base. So as you turn right from downwind to base, it's going to blow you out towards the northeast, isn't it? So. Right, I've picked up the ILS, but not the glide slope yet. Oh yeah, I got the glide slope as well. Oh no, it says no glide slope. So, Steve, don't forget to turn your course on your ILS to 030. Now, that's just to remind you, really, and so it makes sense. ILS doesn't actually care what radial you turn that course to. It doesn't actually care, but it just looks confusing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use ILS, but I'm going to pass over the airport.
Yeah.
Make a left circuit.
Yeah, whatever you fancy. I think runway 21 is a right-hand circuit, but it doesn't matter.
It's a what?
I think it's a right-hand circuit. I think in the.
Let me see the charts.
Why am I? Oh, I know
Why are you going that way, mate?
I don't know. I turned my localizer on. And it's just flown that way. That is weird. Too far away. Yeah, I turned my CDI on to localizer 1, and then it just turned that way. It's weird.
Okay. Just fly it in heading mode until you're closer.
Yeah. Put up like LOC on the top, like it should do. It said like yours did, no glide scope. But weird.
Yeah, fully fine, so fully in, so that it's the blade angle is such that it will accelerate you quickly if you need to do a go around. That's what it's for. Yeah, that's in most airplanes, but
the mixture full also.
and mixture full as well. Yeah, ready for a go around. And if you have carburetor heat, then you normally have carburetor heat on to keep it clear of ice, because you'll be at low power settings on your approach. And then there's two ways of doing it. Some people put the carburetor heat cold when they're about 3 to 500 feet, and other people keep it on all the way down. Keep it on right the way until landing, and if you need to do a go around, then you put the carburetor heat off and open the throttle.
What's stall heat? What's that button for? It doesn't work in
Your stall warner will have its own little heater in that case. Not all of them do.
No.
Depends how it picks up the stall.
And then I've got this fluid control. It's got primary high, max flow airframe, and backup on.
Yeah. That's one way of de-icing the wings is to weep de-icing fluid along the leading edge.
Right.
And that just tells you how much you've got, what pressure is coming out at, sort of. Yeah. All good stuff, isn't it?
It's fascinating. It really is. Like before all this technology, I can't believe what did aircraft do? Because they didn't have all that.
Crash.
Did they?
They
Right.
crashed.
Simply crashed, right.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, they crashed. Yeah.
Wow.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was your question that I didn't listen to?
What did aircraft do before we had all these ILS, and before we had
De-icing and all that, yeah.
de-icing and all that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Pray a lot and cross your fingers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm established on the ILS.
Blame everything to the navigator.
Yeah.
Those were scary flights.
Yeah. Can you imagine in the fog, in the cloud, in the ice, and you had no idea? If you were lucky, you had an NDB. Just mad. Right, I'm looking for 7,280. 7,006 I am. On glide slope, on localizer. Looking up at 7.2, I can see the runway. I'll continue on down till I'm about a mile away.
Right, yeah, I've captured the glide slope.
And I'm braking left for a right-hand circuit. Nice and tight so I don't lose sight of it. Pre-landing checks are done.
glide scope.
So just descend with the glide slope now and keep
Yep.
the localizer in the middle.
Yep.
And then you're looking for 7,280.
I see you. Final.
Yep, just turning final.
That's 7,280. So now do a left.
Well, no, look up and see if you can see the runway.
Yep, can.
That's good. Don't now go above 7,280. Keep on going till you're about a mile, mile and a half from
Okay.
the runway, which you can see from your DME.
Yep.
Yep. And then do a brake left to do a right-hand circuit.
Okay.
So you can see how useful that is.
Definitely, yeah.
And that's your circle to land-ish. And I am clear of the active.
For whites, I think I'm a little high.
Yeah, that's fine, isn't it? You can easily sort it out in a caravan.
One red.
500.
Two red. It's always better a little high than a little low.
It's safer to be higher than a little low. But ideally you should be spot on.
Final.
Yeah, looking good.
without moving.
Yeah.
Taxi to gates.
Like with me, like all these procedures and everything, like ATC, doing exactly all that. It's like so much to do and take in. But I suppose when you've done it for so many years, it just all comes natural, doesn't it? The more times you do it, it just comes second habit, doesn't it? I
Yeah,
suppose.
and don't forget, you build these things up bit by bit. It's all done, with the way they teach it and the way it's structured is really, really very clever how they do it. So you're not overloaded. The first bit where you get overloaded is in the circuit, especially downwind. You've got a lot to do downwind, or you think you've got a lot to do downwind, because you've got all your checks to remember, you've got your altitude to keep right, you've got to think about where you're going to turn, blah blah blah, make your radio call. So the first bit where people get a bit overloaded is in the circuit, but then you keep doing circuits, and then it just becomes second nature.
Second
And then
nature.
you do your cross country, and then when you have to do your radio bits on the cross country, you do your when you turn, you run through your checks after you turn to make sure you've got the time right, etc., etc., and it all becomes second nature. And your instructor is alongside you to do the bits that you can't do, and then you slowly take the bits off him or her,
Right.
until you can do it all yourself.
Cool. Do you
That's
do
how it.
solos as well? Before your final actual test bit, do you do
Oh
solos in
yeah,
like aircraft? Yeah.
your first bit is all the basics of flying straight and level, doing all your turns and stalling, and then you do your circuit work and your landings, and then you go solo. Generally speaking, you go solo and you do your first circuit solo, and then you normally bash out a few more circuits solo or with an instructor, and then you start learning your cross-country skills, and then you do your cross-country skills with your instructor until such time as he or she says you're good enough to do your first cross-country on your first landaway on your own.
Right.
And then you do that, and then you build yourself up to your cross-country navigation, which is 3 different airfields in one go, in one day, with all the planning in between. And you normally fly that with an instructor, and then you do it on your own. And then after that, it's practice, ready for your test.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't throw anything at you
No.
that you can't cope with. They don't send you solo until they know you can cope. It's all
Yeah.
very well structured. Yeah, it's all very good. So as you say, there's a lot to take in now, but in real life, you would have spent 40 hours doing that.
Yeah.
Always, I think it's a mistake when you start flying in taxi that you think you have to answer immediately to the ATC. And first is flying and then is answering. Am I correct?
Yeah. Aviate and communicate.
Yes, security, aviate, communicate.
Yeah.
No?
Yep. Exactly that. They can wait. You just tell them to stand by.
Exactly. That was awesome. That
was good fun. That was good fun.
Really, yeah.
And that was a good ILS with a circle to land. You can see how useful they are.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yep. Especially some places in Norway, that's the only way you're going to get into the other end.
Hmm.
Is to come in on their VOR and then do a circle to land. Yeah.
Yeah, because the cloud, I suppose, you can't. It's
Yep.
safer doing it that way. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there is no approach aid the other side
Right. Got you.
because of the high ground. So you'd never
Yeah.
get in. So you have to approach from one way and then circle round to do it, circle round to land. And
But
that's the
even
only way you can
though,
do it.
but the course will still be aligned, won't it, at the other end to the glide scope? So you can
Yeah.
still follow that in, can't you?
No,
Or
you won't
not
get a
really?
glide. You won't get a glide slope. If
But
you
you'll still
are,
have the green line though, won't you? That's you can align to, can't you, from the opposite
if
direction, or
if
not?
they have a if they have a back course,
Ah,
what's
okay.
called a back course, then you
Oh,
will. But
yeah.
if they don't, you run the risk of it being the wrong side. It's reversed.
Ah, got
So
you.
unless
Yeah.
you've got a back course and you click the button on your autopilot that says BC,
Yeah, yeah. I've always wondered what
yeah,
that was. I've
that's
never
the back.
used it ever.
Well, we'll do some of those then. That's the back
Yeah,
course.
that'd be good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely.
it sorts itself out for you.
Ah,
Otherwise, you have to turn left when it's going right and right when it's going left, and it's not a good idea.
yeah, yeah.
So
Get you
yeah,
now. Yeah.
we can find some of those and do a back course.
That'd be good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okie dokie, guys.
Well,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Nigel. Appreciate it
Thank
again.
you. No,
Thanks
no,
very
no, no,
Yeah,
much.
no. Good fun. All good
yeah,
fun.
definitely. Thanks,
Uh,
Roberto.
Thank you.
yeah. Speak soon, guys. Speak soon.
Yeah, definitely. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.